Hey guys, so now let's look at this question 34. Question 34 says that given that y is equal to 0 at x is equal to 0, the general solution of the differential equation this here is which one of these? And this is a second order differential equation, right? So what we want to do is actually get the auxiliary quadratic equation, right? And then we could use that to get the general solution, right? Depending on the types of roots that we get from the auxiliary quadratic equation. So we could rewrite this as, or we could gain the auxiliary quadratic equation from this here. And that auxiliary quadratic equation would be m squared plus 6 plus 6m plus 9, right, is equal to 0. When you factorize this out, what you would get is m plus 3 by m plus 3. So that's like real distinct. Not real distinct, it would be, yeah, real equal roots. So these are real equal roots because this is the same as m plus 3 squared is equal to 0. And then if you solve for m, what you would get is m is equal to negative 3. That's what you would get. So you might be tempted to say, well, okay, m is equal to negative 3, so it would be the general form, right, is e to the negative 3x plus, or rather, by a plus bx. You might say that is it. But none of these solutions have that. So something wrong here, right? The one that looks closest to it, C, doesn't have negative, it have positive there, 3x. So, well, this is out of the equation in terms of solutions. This is out too, right? Because it's 3 is positive 3. We're looking at the ones with negative 3 in them. So let's look at B and C, right? So this is a way you could look at multiple choice. Process of elimination is very key as well. So we can't use this thing here. But also, note something. They gave us some information here. Given that y is equal to 0 when x is equal to 0. That is very key. So they give us a condition for the general solution. Y must be equal to 0 when x is equal to 0 or at x is equal to 0. So let's use that result or that information. Let's plug x is equal to 0 into here and see if we get y is equal to 0. You could clearly see you will get y is equal to 0, right? Because you would have b by 0 e to the negative 3, 0, right? The 0 here would cause everything to turn to 0. So it looked like B is our answer, right? If we look at D, if we plug in 0 here, this will turn to 0. But this guy here will turn to, it will be e to the 0, right? And e to the 0 is 1. So you get y is equal to 1 for D. For D, D would be y is equal to 1. So if I'm to just clear this up a bit, right? We know this here, we're not using this. But because when you plug in x is equal to 0 into this guy here, right? You get y is equal to 0. Then B is the answer there, right? And because 2, you see that it had a negative there in the auxiliary, well, the negative 3, right, that we got from the auxiliary quadratic equation. So that's my thinking behind this question. This was an interesting question, a bit different, and yeah, so that's basically it. I hope you guys understood this. I hope this makes sense to you all. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, share it to somebody that you believe it will be beneficial to, and I will see you guys in the next video.